Hey guys, it's Leslie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Leslie and I'm so excited that you're here today joining us for today's video. Today we're going to be doing a Q&A. I asked you guys on my Instagram, and if you're not following me on my Instagram, go ahead and follow me on my Instagram. I do post on there about every other day, so I'm trying to be more active on there. So go ahead and follow me on there if you're not already. But I asked you guys on my story to just ask me any questions and that I will be answering them here on this YouTube video. And so I gathered all the questions and here we are answering all of your guys' questions from Instagram. So without further ado, let's get started in this Q&A. Okay, because I film on my phone and I do everything off of my phone, I had to find a way in how to get the questions ready for me so like that I can read them and answer them in live time. And so I literally had to print them out, but it's okay, we're making it work. And so I have all the questions here and I honestly have not read these. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have any like duplicates on here, so I haven't like thoroughly read the questions or anything like that. So let's get into it. The first question is, what's your biggest strength with your husband being gone? I would say my biggest strength is having a routine with my kids. Selfishly, I would like to have a routine within myself as well, but I'm currently working on that. But yeah, as I stated, having a routine with my kids is a strength of mine, and I realize that my kids also kind of thrive off of this strength because they already got used to the routine kind of that we have going on, and they're like in automatic mode once it comes to starting the routine and finishing off the routine. So for example, like bedtime, we have a pretty set bedtime routine, and so my kids and myself, like we all just thrive in the house once it comes to bedtime routine. And that is by 8 o'clock I start bathing my daughter, then I get her dressed, put her to bed, and then around 8:20, 8:25 is when I get my son. I do his shower, change him, put him to bed, and then by that time it'll be like 8:45 the latest. And then from there is when I do my shower, my post-shower routine, and then I come downstairs and I have my me time. So just that alone, like our bedtime routine is like a crucial factor that we have to do every single day. And so just being able to set a routine for myself to function as a mom, the parent, you know, the head of the household currently right now, and just incorporating that with my kids, it for sure has been my biggest strength so far with my husband being gone. Next question is, what's been your biggest difficulty with your husband being gone? Having to do these big tasks by myself, because with him here, he would help me with them, and now, well, obviously I have to do everything myself. So a big task would be like washing the car, cleaning the inside. All of that it's not hard work, it's just a little bit tedious when you have to do it all by yourself. And so just things like that, doing these things all by myself, it does take a toll on me. Like I get physically tired and then I just get a little bit drained, and so I kind of have like a little bit of reset time to myself after I'm done doing these tasks, because then I'm back to mom mode. My kids are waking up, they need me, they need to eat, they need entertainment, and it's go 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 mode. And so yeah. Okay, next question is who's your favorite sister? I love my sisters for individual reasons, so I do not have a favorite sister. I do have favoritism in certain categories, sure, but like overall I do not have a favorite sister. So yeah, that's an invalid question, sorry. Next question is, if you knew your life was going to be this way, would you do it the same? If not, what would be different? That's a good question. Like, looking back, say 5 years ago, I would not have guessed for my life to be what it is now, and just to be in the position that I am, aka a mother, a stay-at-home mother, a military spouse. But with that being said, I am very thankful and I'm very happy for everything that I am and for how my life is now and everything that my life has blessed me with. And so there's not necessarily anything that I would do different, because I know that I'm still young and I still have time to do these other things that were once a higher priority for myself, because my life isn't over, and I'm kind of like teeter-tottering if I still want to achieve those things and do those things, but I know that I still have the future ahead of me and I can still definitely accomplish those goals and do X, Y, and Z, you know, if that makes any sense. Next question is, what is your biggest fear? Oh, my biggest fear is honestly, let me knock on some wood, is anything bad happening to my kids. Obviously some things are just gonna happen that's out of our hands, but what I'm referring to is like the bad stuff, and I just don't really want to speak it out into existence, but yeah, just think about that, you know. I don't want any bad stuff to happen to my kids, first of all, and second of all, I wouldn't want these things to happen to them while they're still so young. Of course, with age and just getting older, bad things happen, but that's like normal for it to happen because of aging and just getting older, which that sucks alone as it is, but that's normal, right? But just the really bad things that are so horrible, I would just really hate, and I'm so scared for anything to happen to my kids while they're kids, because that will be really hard for me to live with, and it'll just be really hard for the family altogether. Next question, do you like having kids with a small age gap? For the ages that they are right now, I'm going to say yes, because my daughter, she is just gonna be 4 months and my son is barely gonna be 2 pretty soon. And so for the milestones that they're in right now, it's okay, and it's nice having their age gap that they are. But girl, ask me this question again when they're both toddlers, we'll see. I don't know, maybe my answer will be different, maybe it'll be the same, I don't know. I cannot tell the future, so I cannot speak for then. But for now, I'm going to say yes. Yeah, it's not too bad. It definitely has its downs. It definitely has its very chaotic moments, its crazy moments, its overwhelming, stressful, anxious, and all of the above and everything in between moments. But the brighter side of things really does uplift those downside moments, for sure. This question says, what is your biggest goal in life and why? Dang, that's a good question. I feel like I can answer this question in different ways. Like, if you ask the mom side of me, I have one question, but if you ask the Leslie side of me, I have another answer. So let me just answer it both ways, right? My biggest goal in life, if you're asking mom, Leslie, is for my kids to be happy, loved, supported, and for them to know that us as their parents are always going to be there for them and are always going to do everything that we can for them. That's my biggest goal in life as my kid's mom, as my kid's parent. But if you're asking Leslie, I guess I have two answers for that, just because, you know, I do have different goals for myself career-wise, and so one part of me says that I want to be able to be a stay-at-home working mom from doing social media. I genuinely do this because I like it and it just makes me happy. I find it very fun. I've been doing this for a couple of years already and I haven't been getting paid for it so far. And so I'm manifesting that I can still keep doing this, but actually get some income off of this and actually start getting paid. That would be like so freaking awesome. But another part of me wants to do something that I had already started years ago and never finished, and that's getting into being a nurse, becoming an RN, and just getting back into the medical field and working with patients, helping other people. Okay, we had to do a little bit of a different situation going on here. My daughter is teething, so she's just been very uncomfortable. She's just been a little bit more vocal, in pain, saliva coming out and everything. So yeah, I just have her on the boob right now to kind of soothe her and her gums a little bit. So yeah, just don't mind what's going on here. Just mom things, you know. But let's get back into the questions. So this one says, when does your husband come back from deployment? My husband, he is currently on his deployment. So he left mid-September, and it's said to be, as of right now, that he will not be returning back home, aka Louisiana, until early April. I cannot give any more information than that, but that's all I can say. This one says, what time were your babies born? My first child, my son, he was born at 11:42 p.m. on December 25th, 2022. Homeboy wanted to come and be popped out right before Christmas Day ended, and so he needed just at the crisp 11:42 p.m. on a special holiday. And my second child, my daughter, she was born on July 9th, 2024 at 4:20 a.m. She is quite the girl and she's quite the warrior. She came and it was just like a fresh new way to start the day with a brand new baby. Okay, this question says, which pregnancy was better? I feel like I can't really say which one was better overall per se, because I had certain things happening in each pregnancy that didn't happen in the other. So let me explain. Okay, when I was pregnant with my son, I had no previous kids. He was my first. And so I didn't have other kids, you know, to look after, care after, attend to, all that stuff, you know. And so because I was pregnant with him, I was still working. I had worked before finding out that I was pregnant, and then during my whole pregnancy up until I turned 36 weeks, and then from there I went on maternity leave. And so, yeah, I pretty much worked my whole pregnancy. But in terms of being pregnant with my daughter, I already had a kid, my son. And so I had him to look after, care for, chase after, all of that stuff. And so I couldn't just like appreciate my pregnancy in its full of what it was, because I already had another child. And so, yeah, I couldn't really like take the time to appreciate this pregnancy as much as the last one. Not that I'm saying it's my son's fault or anything. That's just, part of being a mom and being a parent and already having kids. But on the other side, I did not work at all during my pregnancy with my daughter. The last time I worked was actually while I was pregnant with my son, and that was back in 2022. And so my last day of working actually was mid-November of 2022, and so after that I haven't worked. So yeah, I didn't have to leave to work, clock in, be there for a full 8 hours. And yeah, I just didn't have to deal with, the work stuff. That's why I can't say that a specific pregnancy was better, because they both had their pros and cons. And so I feel like for that reason, they're not equal. So I can't choose and say which pregnancy was better. Next question says, what is something that gets you emotional? Dang, you trying to make me cry? Seeing something happen to kids that is out of their control. Just seeing these really horrible things happen to kids, and I'm referring to like the media, the news. Just these really horrible things that unfortunately happen to kids that is out of the kids' control, and obviously the kids do not choose this or want this or need this. That gets me emotional. But that's like a third person thing that gets me emotional. As a personal thing that gets me emotional would probably be, well, it doesn't get me emotional anymore, but it did, and it affected me a lot, which resulted me in getting postpartum depression and anxiety. And that was the birth of my son, and just my labor experience with my son. It was not by far the worst ever compared to other stories, but for what I went through and for my situation and everything, there were just some things that happened that were scary. And it was just a roller coaster of emotions, and so that used to get me very emotional. Now I don't. Now I'm much better, and I've been able to comprehend all of that stuff and just being able to cope and talk about it. Yeah, if you want to know more information regarding my son's birth and labor and all that stuff, I posted another video about it just dedicated to that, so you can go ahead and watch that video. It's up on my YouTube channel. So yeah, next question. This one says, do you like living in a different state away from your family? Yes and no. Yes, because it honestly has opened up my eyes as to who really cares, loves, and supports you. Whether you like it or not, it has opened up my eyes, and it is what it is. At the end of the day, people's colors really do show now. Also, in regarding just having your backbone of support from the family who do love you, care for you, and support for you. They're not, right here where I can easily go visit them, or they can visit me, or we can hang out, meet up, whatever, because they're in a completely different state. Oh, this one says, what do you miss most about Cali? First of all, I really miss In-N-Out. That is my favorite all-time go-to burger spot, In-N-Out. And There's an In-N-Out in Texas, but girl, it's like 3-something hours away. I'm not gonna be driving all the time, 3-something hours just for some In-N-Out. But also, I miss, but I don't miss, is being around more of like the city populated life. And what I mean by that is having the big stores, malls, grocery stores, closer and more like accessible. It would be nice for it to be a little bit closer and a little bit more easily accessible. So like that, when I am in the mood of like, hey, you know what, I feel like going to the mall, I don't have to drive like freaking 90 miles to go to there. Okay, we're almost done with the questions here, but this one says, do you feel you get to relive your childhood through your kids? Yes, I do. And I feel like that's why I get in my head a lot, because I want my kids to have a better childhood than I had growing up. I did not have the worst childhood ever. Nothing crazy bad happened, but we did go through some downs during my childhood. And so I just don't want those things from my end of my childhood to be relived for my kids. And also, I know my husband can speak the same. He doesn't want what he went through in his childhood, those negative and those downs, to be relived through my kids. And so we just work together. We talk about the things that we didn't like about our childhood and how we don't want that to happen to our kids, and how we're actively trying to make sure that our kids live a better life from our childhoods combined together. Okay, this one says, what is Ivar's favorite meal? Honestly, his like favorite thing to eat is steak. My boy, he could tear up steak. Like literally, he could just eat steak as his whole meal. Then in terms of drink, I would say his favorite drink is just apple juice. Snacks, I would say his favorite snacks is fruit. Okay, and the last question is, what's your favorite thing to cook? My favorite thing to cook would probably be like some type of authentic meal. And authentic as in like I make everything from scratch. So I wouldn't say necessarily like one specific meal, but just making something from scratch, like that I make with my own hands, that is probably my favorite thing to cook, and probably like my biggest flex when it comes out really good. So like I've made homemade fried chicken, that was really good. I've made homemade cornbread, that was really good. I've done homemade mac and cheese. So it's just different things, but overall it's homemade, authentic, from scratch meals or snacks, desserts, drinks, however you want to categorize it. That is probably my favorite thing to whip up in the kitchen. But that was all of my questions. I feel like I got a decent amount of questions, so thank you to everyone who submitted the questions, and I hope I answered your questions to the best of your liking. If you guys want me to do a part 2 of a Q&A type of video, then be sure to leave a comment down below. Also with that, if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. And if you like my content and if you wish to see more of my content, then please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not subscribed already. But other than that, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.